Okay, I can't express how excited I am to make this video. For one, I get to talk about marine reptiles, some of my favorite prehistoric animals, in large part due to chased by sea monsters, but not just any marine reptile. A mosasaur, one of my favorite groups of marine reptiles, if not my favorite, with possibly my favorite reptile that wasn't a dinosaur, Tylosaurus. And I get to go over a figure that I've always wanted to add to my collection, and I was stoked to get this figure for the price I did. So, this is the Safari Ltd Carnegie Collection Tylosaurus. Being in the Carnegie line, it has been retired for a little bit, but it is an amazing figure. You can sometimes look up and find them on eBay like I did. And like I said, I found this one for a pretty good price. I got it for, I think, right under $40. Somewhere between $30 and $40, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, I think it was a great price for this figure. I've been trying to add this figure to my collection, but just waiting to be able to find it for a good price or something. And whenever I saw this one get listed in great condition, I took the chance and seized it. So let's just get into some information about the animal first. So first off, Tylosaurus is not a dinosaur. It's a marine reptile, a mosasaur. And mosasaurs are a group of marine reptiles which were closely related to snakes and monitor lizards. And like I said, Tylosaurus was one of the largest mosasaurs, possibly the largest. Tylosaurus lived between 90 to 66 million years ago, based on the current fossils, meaning it did live up until the mass extinction with the non-avian dinosaurs. And Tylosaurus fossils have been found in the western interior seaway. Tylosaurus has one big feature that differentiates it from a lot of other mosasaurs, meaning it has a more long and slender snout compared to other marine reptiles, or not other marine reptiles, but other mosasaurs. For example, here's the Collectae mosasaurs compared. As you can see, it's got a thicker, taller, wider skull, but it's shorter, while Tylosaurus has a longer, thinner skull. I don't think these are exactly a scale, but it shows off what I'm trying to state. And then Tylosaurus also does not have teeth on the tip of its snout. And this has caused some paleontologists to believe that it might have been used for some sort of combat, potentially to attack prey, like ramming it, or possibly in combat with other Tylosaurs or other mosasaurs. And Tylosaurus scales have actually been found, and they are very similar to rattlesnake scales, but would be proportionally smaller. An interspecies conflict has been recorded in their fossils. And Tylosaurus was the apex predator and pretty much ate everything that got in the water, including fish. I really wish I had a figure of it, but Zephactinus would have been something it would have ate. Sharks, like Cretoxyrhina. Other marine reptiles, like Elasmosaurus. And other marine reptiles as well, like giant sea turtles like Archelon, as well as stuff like ammonites, were all things Tylosaurus would have ate, as well as pterosaurs and even dinosaurs that got in the water. One species of shark, Cretoxyrhina, was the apex predator in the western interior seaway, but is believed to have possibly gone extinct due to too much direct competition with Tylosaurus. And Tylosaurus did compete with two other mosasaurs in the western interior seaway, including Mosasaurus itself and Prognathodon. I don't have a Prognathodon figure, though. I'm not for sure if there is a figure of it. But all three were very large and only could coexist due to niche partitioning, with possibly one of them, like Prognathodon, possibly going for more hard-shelled prey like Archelon and ammonites, or turtles and mollusks, while something like Mosasaurus might have went for the fish and other marine reptiles. And Tylosaurus has a lot of known species and is closely related to Haniosaurus, and some paleontologists suggest synonymizing the two. Now getting back into the video, I'm sorry, I had to take a slight pause to do something, but now that I'm back, now we are actually in the figure review portion. And overall, I really love this figure. It looks great and a huge step up in the Carnegie line from their original attempt at a mosasaur. If you haven't seen the original Carnegie, I think it's actually supposed to be mosasaur, so I don't think it's Tylosaurus, but maybe it is. I might put a picture of it in at the end, so I'm going to have to mess with this video in like iMovie or something anyways, but the old attempt at the first mosasaur was not very good, and this is a huge step up from that one. That might be the worst figure in the whole Carnegie line, though, to be fair. And yeah, this figure is a huge step up from that one. And really the only knock I can really give on this figure is that there's no tail fluke, because there's now a belief that mosasaurs would have a tail fluke similar to this in the Collectae Mosasaurus. It's now believed that most mosasaurs would have something like this. And Safari knows this because in their updated Tylosaurus, it does have a tail fluke, but I actually do prefer this figure to the updated one for the most part. Obviously, I would like it if this one did have the tail fluke, because then it would be more accurate, but that's the only thing I really prefer about that other one. And this figure is amazing. It looks like a real animal. And pretty much that's the highest compliment I can give a figure or a prehistoric animal model in a documentary. And by that I mean it just looks like an actual animal. Some figures, in my opinion, just don't look like a real animal, but this one definitely does. Like if you told me this is exactly what Tylosaurus would look like, or if you said we went back 67 million years ago and there was an animal that looked just like this, I would completely believe you, because this figure looks that good. And I love the color scheme of the black top with the olive green middle, with the white bottom. Definitely a plausible color scheme with the same ideas like a great white shark being nearly impossible to see from above or below. And also with it being a mosasaur. Oh yeah, this one actually shipped with the little plastic thing. And usually I don't really keep up with these things, but where this one, I just think it looks good sitting in it actually, so I'm actually keeping mine in that. So like, yeah, so prey from the bottom would see white, so it would look like the sky. And prey from below would see the dark black, so it wouldn't really stand out. That's why I think that is a plausible color scheme. And with it being a mosasaur, I can definitely see some similarities to snakes and monitor lizards. And now we'll just go over like what I normally do. Since I don't have like one of those rotating things, we'll just try to get as many angles as we can. And like I said, I think this figure looks amazing. One thing, you might have a figure that's very similar to this if you collect the Safari Ltd tubes, and that is this figure. This is, I believe, from the Safari Ltd Prehistoric Marine Life tube. I think it's retired now, but this is Tylosaurus, and it's very similar to this model. It's not an exact copy. Obviously, the color scheme is not the same, and it's shaped slightly different, but very similar figure. It actually subs in very well for a baby Tylosaurus, so if you have them both, I think they do look good together. Oh, and one thing I did want to mention, the seller did give me a note, and I just think that's an awesome little thing to do. If you're an eBay seller and you want to just get your reviews up, just do something like that. I think that's a simple thing you can do. And I did want to show off a little drawing I did based off this figure, and here it is. And it's like a school of fish getting attacked by a Cretoxyrhina, which is getting attacked by Tylosaurus. And this one doesn't show it as inaccurate because it shows only the top half, and the tail is kind of hidden, so it works really well. And now we're going to get into some documentaries that Tylosaurus is featured in. And I believe the mosasaur in Chased by Sea Monsters is supposed to be Tylosaurus. They don't specifically say, they just say like giant mosasaur. But I do believe that it is supposed to represent Tylosaurus for most of the stuff I've seen. And that's obviously one of the big personal reasons I like it. That's one of the big personal reasons I like marine reptiles, is because of Chased by Sea Monsters. Nigel Marvin, all that. I love that documentary. And I think that's definitely plays a big reason in why I like prehistoric marine reptiles so much. Specifically, the giant mosasaurs like Tylosaurus. Tylosaurus is also said to be featured in Sea Monsters, A Prehistoric Adventure, a documentary that I've heard a lot of good things about, but haven't personally seen yet, but I really want to see it, and I'll try to watch that soon so I can maybe talk about it on the channel. And Mosasaurus, or not Mosasaurus, Tylosaurus is also featured in a few documentaries. Will kind of feature, it's kind of like the first, like in Chased by Sea Monsters, where they don't call it Tylosaurus, but I believe there's a good chance it's called Tylosaurus, because a couple of documentaries say Mosasaur, and that's exactly like what they say. They say Mosasaur, so I don't know if they're referring to Mosasaurus, Tylosaurus, or something else, and those include Monsters Resurrected and Dinosaur Revolution, because most of the time when they just say Mosasaur, I kind of assume it's Mosasaurus, but possibly it's not, so I don't really know. So I mention those two, but don't know for sure. And I'll try to include pictures of the updated Safari model that includes the tail fluke and the old Carnegie model. And now we're going to go over the featured figures. So obviously this is the Carnegie Collection Tylosaurus, the star of the video. And then this is the Collecte Mosasaurus, the only Collecte figure I have, unfortunately. I plan on getting some more, but I really love that figure. Then we have the Safari Ltd tube Tylosaurus that I'm pretty sure is in the prehistoric sea life tube, but it's kind of hard to get now. This is the Safari Ltd Cretoxyrhina, which is in the also, I believe, retired prehistoric sharks tube. This is the Safari Ltd Elasmosaurus, which I believe is in the same tube that features the Tylosaurus. Then we have two Groovy Tube Books figures, the Groovy Tube Books Archelon and the Groovy Tube Books Almanite, which are both in the Gone Extinct tube. So that's all the figures featured in this video, and I'll try to include those pictures, but thank you all so much for watching. I do want to mention two things really quick. We're going to have 3 videos coming up really soon, I hope. There's going to be a video featuring some Jurassic World stuff. Then we're going to go over the collection showcase, which is supposed to be my 50 subscriber special video. But we're really almost going to be at 60 subs by then, because I think we're really close to 60 right now. So we might be at 60 by the time that video comes out. But I didn't plan on doing a 60 subscriber special, so it's kind of fine. Because I don't really plan on doing another subscriber special until 100. So hopefully that ends up coming sooner than I'm expecting. But I'm definitely super thankful for you all helping me get to 50 subscribers. But that video's taking a little bit longer to get out just because I've had some other content that needed, because this video for sure I wanted to get out before the 50 subscriber special, because I didn't want this to be featured since I've showed off my collection before and then it just randomly get inserted and never even mentioned. So I wanted this figure to get shown off before I did the collection showcase. And then the Jurassic World mini. And then we have a birthday special video, which will be coming up really soon too. So thank you all so much for getting me to 50. That was an awesome birthday gift. So thank you all so much.